Jayo Radha Madhava Ajayo Kunja Vihari Jayo Radha Madhava Ajayo Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Ajayo Girivaradhari Jayo Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Ajayo Girivaradhari Jayo Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Nandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Natira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Ajayo Kunja Vihari Jayo Radha Madhava Ajayo Kunja Vihari Jayo Kunja Vihari Jayo Kunja Vihari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी नयन पथगामी भवतु मे जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी नयन पथगामी भवतु मे जय राधा वल्लभ श्री राधे राधा वल्लभ श्री राधे जय राधा वल्लभ श्री राधे वल्लभ राधा वल्लभ श्री राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन वर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन 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 गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय निताय दयाल जय निमाय सुंदर जय सुंदर निमाय जय निताय दयाल जय निताय दयाल जय निमाय सुंदर जय सुंदर निमाय जय निताय दयाल जय निताय दयाल जय निमाय सुंदर जय सुंदर निमाय जय निताय दयाल जय निताय दयाल जय निमाय सुंदर जय सुंदर निमाय जय निताय दयाल गौर निताय जय 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 प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा श्रील प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा श्रील प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा श्रील प्रभुपादा प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा श्रील प्रभुपादा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा श्रील गुरुदेवा देवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा श्रील गुरुदेवा ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्-भागवतम की जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhirayet Srinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtanaha Hrudantasto Hiya Bhadrani Vidunnoti Suhutsatam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regular attendance in classes on Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to pure devotee, all that is troublesome to heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service on to personality of Godhead, whose praise with transcendent songs is established as an irrevocable fact. So we are reading Canto 8, Withdrawal of the Cosmic Creations, Chapter 7, Lord Shiva saves the universe by drinking poison. Text 34. Tatasya te sad asato parata parasya. Tatasya te sad asato parata parasya. Tatasya te sad asato parata parasya. Tasato parata parasya nanja swarupa gamane prabhavanti bhumna. Nanja swarupa gamane prabhavanti bhumna. Nanja swarupa gamane prabhavanti bhumna. Jaswarupa gamane prabhavanti bhumna. Brahmadaya kim uta samstavane vayam tu. Madaya kim uta samstavane vayam tu. Brahmadaya kim uta samstavane vayam tu. Ya kim uta samstavane vayam tu. Tat sarga sarga vishaya api shakti matram. Sarga vishaya api shakti matram. Tat sarga sarga vishaya api shakti matram. Gasarga vishaya api shakti matram. Tatasya te sadasato parata parasya. Parata parasya nanja swarupa gamane prabhavanti bhumna. Upagamane prabhavanti bhumna. Brahmadaya kim uta samstavane vayam tu. Uta samstavane vayam tu. Tat sarga sarga vishaya api shakti matram. Tatasya te sad asato parata parasya. Nanja swarupa gamane prabhavanti bhumna. Brahmadaya kim uta samstavane vayam tu. Tat sarga sarga vishaya api shakti matram. Tatasya te sadasato parata parasya. Nanja swarupa gamane prabhavanti bhumna. Brahmadaya kim uta samstavane vayam tu. Tatsarga sarga vishaya api shakti matram. Tatasya te sadasato parata parasyam. Nanja swarupa gamane prabhavanti bhumnam. Brahmadaya kimmuta samstavane vayantu. Tatsarga sarga vishaya api shakti matram. Any Matajis? Tatasya te sad asato parata parasyam. Nanja swarupa gamane prabhavanti bhumnam. Brahmadaya kimmuta samstavane vayantu. Tatsarga sarga vishaya api shakti matram. Tatasya te sadasato parata parasyam. Nanja swarupa gamane prabhavanti bhumna. Brahmadaya kimmuta samstavane vayantu. Tatsarga sarga vishaya api shakti matram. Yeah, word to word meaning and translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Tat, therefore, tasya, of that, te, of your Lordship, sat asato, of the living entities, moving and not moving, parata, transcendently situated, parasya, very difficult to understand, na, nor, anjaha, as it is, swarupa gamane, to approach your reality, prabhavanti, it is possible, bhumna, O Great One, Brahma Adayaha, even such persons as Lord Brahma, Kim Uta, what to speak of others, Samstavane, in offering prayers, Vayantu, as far as we are concerned, Tat, of you, Sarga Sarga Vishayaha, creations of the creation, Api, although, Shakti Matram, to our ability. Even personalities like Lord Brahma and other demigods cannot understand your position, for you are beyond the moving and non-moving creation. Since no one can understand you in truth, how can one offer you prayers? It is impossible. As far as we are concerned, we are creatures of Lord Brahma's creation. Under the circumstances, therefore, we cannot offer you adequate prayers, but as far as our ability allows, we have expressed our feelings. So there's no purport, we move to the next verse. 35. Etat param prapasyamo na param te maheshvara mrudanaya hi lokasya vyaktiste vyaktakarmanaha. O greatest of all rulers, Your actual identity is impossible for us to understand. As far as we can see, your presence brings flourishing happiness to everyone. Beyond this, no one can appreciate your activities. We can see this much and nothing more. Purport. When the demigods offered these prayers to Lord Shiva, their inner purpose was to please him so that he would rectify the disturbing situation created by the hala poison. So there is an inner purpose for offering prayers. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.20, Kamastaistar hitva jnanaha prapadhyante anya devata. When worships demigod, this is certainly because of deep-rooted desires he wants fulfilled by the mercy of those demigods. People are generally attached to the worship of demigods for some motive. So therefore there is a motivation for worshipping Anya Devatas. And today is the day, if I'm not mistaken, is the day when the Devata Lord Ganeshji is worshipped throughout the world, and more so in predominantly in India. But wherever you find Indian bodies, you will find the worship of Lord Ganesha throughout the planet. And incidentally, I was in Hyderabad 2 weeks back, just before Janmashtami, 3 days before, or 1 week before Janmashtami. And Hyderabad is known for Ganesha worship. So every nook and corner you could see Lord Ganesha from 6 inches, 1 foot to 5 feet, 6 feet, 10 feet, and even bigger than that height. Whereas it was almost 2 days before Janmashtami, and we couldn't see any that sort of opulence in the streets or anywhere. Nobody was talking about Lord Krishna's appearance day or likely to be appearing in 2 days' time, and we need to worship. So we can see that people have motivation for worshipping Devatas. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim et kripatamaham vande paramananda vadhavam. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we go back to the translation 34. Even personalities like Lord Brahma and other demigods cannot understand your position, for you are beyond the moving and non-moving creation. Since no one can understand you in truth, how can one offer you prayers? Since no one can understand you in truth, how can one offer prayers? It is impossible. As far as we are concerned, we are creatures of Lord Brahma's creation. which is what is that word which is talking about this? Tat sarga sarga vishaya, that we are the creation of the creation. Because devatas, they are generally the children of Marichi and Kashyapa, and they are the children of Lord Brahma. So therefore, when Lord Brahma himself could not understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we, the grandchildren of Lord Brahma, how is it possible for us to understand? Because we are tat sarga sarga vishaya. So ability allows, we have expressed our feelings. And we find that in Bhagavatam, elsewhere also, we have similar verses or echoing similar meaning, like 2.6.35. Although I am known, Brahma is saying, although I am known as the great Brahma, perfect in the disciplic succession of Vedic wisdom, and although I have undergone all austerities and am an expert in mystic powers and self-realization, and although I am recognized as such by the great forefathers of the living entities who offer me respectful obeisances, still I cannot understand Him, the Lord, the very source of my birth. So here is a prayer by Brahma, who is saying that although I am occupying a primeval position within the universe, I am the first living entity, and I am born from the lotus flower emanating from Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, but still I do not know about the Lord. And similar prayers also we have in 10.14.2. I'll just read only the translation. My dear Lord, neither I nor anyone else can estimate the potency of this transcendental body of yours, which has shown such mercy to me and which appears just to fulfill the desires of your pure devotees. Although my mind is completely withdrawn from material affairs, I cannot understand your personal form. How then could I possibly understand the happiness you experience within yourself? So once again, Lord Brahma is offering the praise. It's not possible for me to understand you. And similar opening verse in Brahma Samhita, Brahma says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. You are the cause of all causes, and it is beyond me to understand you. So therefore, Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I just offer my prayers at your lotus feet. So we find that this is the position of living entities, that we cannot understand Lord Brahma. And next, so we move to the verse for today, the discussion, that 35, O greatest of all rulers, your actual identity is impossible for us to understand. As far as we can see, your presence brings flourishing happiness to everyone. Beyond this, no one can appreciate your activities. We can see this much and nothing more. So who is offering these prayers? Prayers being offered by Devatas. And to whom are they offering? To Lord Shiva. So when the demigods offered these prayers to Lord Shiva, their inner purpose was to please him so that he would rectify the disturbing situation created by the halahala poison. So therefore there is a motivation for the prayer. And so whenever we are in trouble, we will be in trouble, and to be in turbulence is natural in the material world. what do we do? Or what should we do? A pure devotee, as Prabhupada says, that it is the process and the prayer is simply chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is our prayer and this is also our process. Our prayer is, please engage me in your devotional service. This brings us to the pure platform of serving the Supreme Lord. And therefore, we offer these prayers. But here we find there is a motivation by the Devatas because they want to, in one sense you can say that the problem has arose because of the Lord's arrangement, and Lord is also making the solution that you please go and worship Lord Shiva and who will solve the problem. Now here is a hint for us in our life. We do get problems in our life and we also get the solution along with that. Taking a cue from this verse that when the problem arises, Lord makes the arrangement for the solution as well. And we should have faith in that. And what is the governing verse for us to remain fixed in that? Anyone remembers? That as a devotee, when we face turbulences, sometimes the turbulences are so strong that all the forward gears, they stop working. If you are driving a car, all the forward gears stop working and the only gear seems to be working is the reverse gear. And therefore you are continuously sliding backwards, you are not moving forward. And at that stage, at that time, what is to be done? And the verse we can remember at that time is Tatteno kampam susimekshamano bunjana evatma kritam vipakam Rudvag vipurbir vidadan namaste jivetayo mukti pade sadayabha. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words and body, is surely eligible for liberation. For it has become his rightful claim. So this is our firm faith we should have, that any turbulences are coming in our life is only an arrangement by the Lord for our purification. And it's difficult to see when we are floating in high turbulences. That does not mean that one should not offer prayers to Lord Narasimhadev or to the Lord to remove your difficulties, but it depends on the stage at which the person is. It's not just one solution for everyone. It depends on from Shraddha to Prema, where we are, and accordingly we do the prayers. Someone who is on the highest platform, he'll not pray to the Lord to move the car in the forward gear. He said that, well, this is the mercy of the Lord, and says what? Thank you for placing me in this situation. So do we have that firm faith? Do we have that conviction that whatever is happening in my life is good for me to progress in Krishna consciousness? And if I can have that faith, then only I can take to the resort tatteno kampam susimekshamano. But otherwise, we tend, I'm placed in this difficult situation and I should pray so that my reverse gear becomes a forward gear and I'm moving in the forward direction, so that I can continue to live happily in the material world. But that doesn't happen. No matter what we do, at every stage, padam padam te padam natesham, we are placed in a situation to correct ourselves, to rectify our consciousness, and then return back home, back to Godhead. But here we find the devatas are offering prayers to the Lord Shiva. For what? It's a motivation. So Prabhupada quotes 7.20. Prabhupada is quoting 7.20. Kamaistair hritagyanaha prapadyante anya devata tam niyamam asthaya prakrutya niyata swaya. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender onto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. So those who are after material desires surrender on to the devatas or the demigods. Prabhupada in the purport says that it's better to surrender to Vasudev and worship him even if there are difficulties. Akama sarva kama moksha kama va tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. Less intelligent people who have lost their spiritual sense take shelter of demigods for immediate fulfillment of material desires. Generally, such people do not go to Supreme Personality of Godhead because they are in the lower modes of nature and therefore worship various demigods. And elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita also, we find 9.23. Epi anya devata bhakta yajante saddhadayan vita tepi mam eva kaunteya yajanti avidhi purvakam. That avidhi purvakam is that in a wrong way that they are trying to worship. Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kuti, but they do so in a wrong way. So they are not doing properly the worship when we are trying to worship other devatas. And we also have another verse. Men of small intelligence, 7.23, Antavantu palam tesham tad bhavati alpamedasam devan deva yajo yanti mad bhakti yanti mam api. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of demigod, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. So all these verses try to indicate that the persons who are worshipping Anya Devatas seem to be not having the Sambandha Gyan. The Sambandha Gyan is received only when somebody is in touch with a bona fide sampradaya like ISKCON. Otherwise, we miss the Sambandha Gyan or the essence of Vedic literature. What is the essence of Vedic literature? It is that who we are or what is our relationship with the Supreme Lord, Sambandha, and then we have to perform the abhidheya, the practice, the sadhana. What is that we need to practice in order to realize that relationship? And by doing that practice, what is that we gain is the prayojana. So unless someone has this Sambandha Gyan, people are not going to take to worship the Supreme Lord. They'll continue to worship the Anya Devatas. So therefore, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, when one worships demigods, this is certainly because of deep-rooted desires he wants fulfilled by the mercy of those demigods. People are generally attached to the worship of demigods for some motivation. So there is a motivation, and because of that motivation, people tend to worship other devatas. So we can see that today's worship of Lord Ganesha, which is Ganesh Chaturthi, they have a desire to worship Lord Ganesha. And what is the desire? It is the material prosperity. That they want that their family should be good, they should have good wealth to enjoy their life, their business should be successful, and therefore they worship. Last year in Hyderabad, they make the huge laddu. I think it's about 21 kgs laddu. One single laddu, 21 kgs. And it was auctioned, and in that auction it was picked up at a cost of nearly 2 crores. One laddu, one family spends almost 2 crores to buy that laddu. Why? It brings prosperity. What sort of prosperity? Which is a material prosperity. A material prosperity is temporary, and for that temporary fruit, people are willing to pay that amount of money. It's like, it's a bargain that we gives $1 and Krishna gives me $10. Or I give $1, Lord Ganeshji gives me $10. And this has been going on, I think, for the last 20-25 years. It started, I believe, with only 450 rupees purchasing the laddu in auction, and 20 years back, and now it has risen to almost 2 crores. Now we'll have to wait and see this year at what cost the laddu will go for auction. So all this is, as Krishna says, that alpa gyan, they don't have the proper intelligence, and due to lack of intelligence, they try to offer such prayers. And why? Because there's no sambandha gyan. We don't understand. Whatever we may do in the material world, we are subjected to janma mrityu jara vyadi. This you can't overcome, and the only way one can overcome janma mrityu jara vyadi is by worshipping the Supreme Lord. And the easiest way by which one can worship the Supreme Lord is to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So here devatas are worshipping the Lord because Lord Shiva is Ashutosh. He easily becomes happy with your prayer, and therefore he is willing to do the activity you desire for. That they want the hala, the poison to be swallowed, so that the devatas can continue to occupy their positions and offer. So therefore, they want to have those positions, and at the same time, they are devotees. So therefore, it's a mixed devotee. They are, and we find this. That's the difference between devatas and the danavas. Danavas, whatever they do, they want for their own personal satisfaction. But devatas, okay, we worship you, Supreme Lord, but at the same time we have got the tinge of material desire that we want to serve you by occupying those positions, and therefore please retain us in those positions. If the hala poison is swallowed, then we can come back to our normal self in the terms of trying to worship the Lord, but at the same time retain our position. This is what they want. And someone who is Ashutosh can also become easily angry. This is what we need to learn in our even material life. If our partners, our children, our family members are easily become happy it means that they can easily become angry as well. Do you find that in your family members? Someone who is easily happy can become easily angry as well, because the pendulum swings in both the extreme directions. Yes, Mataji? I think Prabhu is always very happy. And we have that prayer offered by Vrakasura, I think, it appears in 10th canto of Srimad-Bhāgavatam, where he worships Lord Shiva to the extent that he starts cutting every part of his body, flesh, and offers in sacrifice to appease Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva is very compassionate. He could have said, okay, allow this guy to die. Ultimately wants to offer his own head. He could have allowed him to die. But he is highly compassionate. So therefore Shiva is called highly auspicious. Wherever he is, he creates this auspiciousness. And therefore Lord Shiva says, okay, ask me for a boon. And what did Vrakasura ask? He says, on whomsoever I keep my hand, his head should break into 1,000 pieces. So that's the boon he asks. And Lord Shiva, being Ashutosh, is very happy, easy to be make happy. So therefore he says, okay, take the boon. And now Vrakasura, what does he do? He says, I want to test this boon. And then he is after Lord Shiva himself and tries to place his hand on him. And Lord Shiva is running everywhere, all over the universe in fear of this demon. And ultimately, when he offers praise to Lord Vishnu appears there as a beautiful brahmachari. And we find that brahmachari appears and he says, see, Lord Shiva has become mad after Daksha Yajna. So therefore, do you think that whatever he is offering boons, they are going to be fulfilled? No, the boon has nothing. It won't give you any that divine power to the hand that it makes the head break into pieces. If you want, you can try on your own head. Just see, nothing will happen. The demon being a demon, he places the hand on his head and the head breaks into 1,000 pieces. And there's a time when Lord chastises mildly Lord Shiva that this is not the way how you offer boons to demons. And equally we have another pastime which we don't find in Bhagavatam, but I believe it is there in Ganesh Purana. And especially people coming from Andhra, they know this pastime called Bhasmasura. Has anyone heard Bhasmasura pastime? Similar to Vrakasura, Bhasmasura is also another demon which appears in Ganesh Purana, where he prays to Lord Shiva and ultimately receives the boon. On whomsoever head he places his hand, then the head turns into ashes, or the body becomes into ashes. And once again the same Bhasmasura, being an asura, he chases Lord Shiva. And according to that Purana, Lord Vishnu appears as Mohini and then saves Lord Shiva because the demon is attracted to Mohini. And therefore she says in one of the dance postures, she keeps her hand on her head, and therefore Bhasmasura, in that inspiration you can say that he places both hands on his head and he becomes an ash, he turns to ash. So therefore one should be careful. Then also he said that Lord Shiva is chastised mildly, do not give such boons. Or to even Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu says that why do you give boons to Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha or Ravanasura, such boons who create nuisance to the entire universe? But then Devatas are bound by the prayers of people and therefore they give the boons. and then we find such asuras coming and disturbing the universe. But in that you find Lord also makes the arrangement for their destruction. Although we find that Ravanasura asked for so many boons, but ultimately thought that, well, how can a Vanara or a human being kill him? He is so powerful. So he did not ask for death from these two living entities. And Lord appears in the form of a human form and then takes the help of, not required, but he takes the help of Vanaras to kill Ravana. Now typically Vanara, somehow people tend to translate as a monkey, but actually Vanara is not a monkey. It is one nar, a nar or a human being who lives in the forest is a Vanara. So not necessarily a monkey. Somehow the translation has been done as only a monkey. So we find that time and again prayers are offered by people to devatas with a motivation, whereas a devotee worships the Lord for ultimate good or to return back home, back to Godhead. So this is what we need to learn from these verses, that the prayers are there by the devatas to swallow the halahal or the poison to Lord Shiva. They are appeasing or they are offering prayers, but a pure devotee tends to offer prayers to Lord Krishna or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the simplest prayer one can offer in this yuga is simply chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is our process and this is our prayer that takes us beyond this material world and takes us back home, back to Godhead. Yeah, any question or any comment? Mm-hmm.
The question is that you mentioned the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that takes us to the spiritual world from the material world. How it is happening? How does it possible to have this one? Is it possible to have done in one birth, or we need to have many births to get this kind of emancipation from the material world to spiritual world? And what is the process?
The process is chanting. Process is simply you chant and hear. You chant and hear. Cheto darpanam arjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that. We have a kilometer of dust on a mirror and that has to be cleaned. As you start cleaning, then you can see yourself. So similarly, the simplest process given to us is chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. By that process, your material desires will be cleansed. And as the process of cleansing takes place, you are moving from Adho Shraddha, the steps you climb up, move forward to the highest platform of prema.
And how do we realize that I am progressing through this chanting? How we can realize it? Say, I understand the first verse of Shishtakam Ashtakam is very powerful, and other verses also, but that is the ultimate goal, isn't it? So you have to clean. So I think there's Mahaprabhu actually put the upside down maybe. Okay, so he is saying that okay, mind, the darpan becomes clean, and then Maha Sangsad Davagni will be extinguished, and then your heart will be just like full moon, blissful, and then the Shatopadda will be Purushpuritam, that means will be blooming. So I think that is the ultimate achievement once you have achieved to that point. but how we can have this happening and what is the process for that? Because will that be happening in one generation is possible or?
See, there are pastimes in Srimad-Bhāgavatam where in 1 minute, Srila Prabhupada in this very room, he says that, how long will it take? He says, just, are you not reading my books? It just takes you 1 minute or 1 second to return back home.
He said immediate. He said immediate. I saw the video.
So he gives the example of Katvanga. Katvanga is the Katvanga.
Okay.
Katvanga is the pastime where he helps Devatas in fighting with the demons. And Devatas, after winning the war, they were pleased with Katvanga, and then they asked him to ask for a boon. They said that, now you have helped us so much, ask for a boon. Then he asked, Katvanga says that, okay, how long am I going to live? He says, only 1 minute. He said that immediately transfer me to the Bhuloka because I want to remain focused on the Supreme Lord and return back home, back to Godhead. And in that moment, he returns back home. So therefore, it just depends on our own sincerity. If you are sincere, in this very lifetime, you can return back home, back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada says, or Bhaktivedanta Thakur says that all my disciples will return back home, back to in this very lifetime, or should return back home. So it just depends on your sadhana. How well, what is your commitment, whether you want to be happy in the material world and you desire some material boons and you want to continue to live here, or you want to return home back to Godhead. It just depends.
Actually, very interesting discussion happened last week, last Saturday, when Aniruddha Prabhu was delivering the lecture, and he was mentioning that mind is flickering. And since our body is material, our mind is also material, so the stringent laws of material, we cannot avoid this. Mind flickers. So you are sincere, but mind flickers all the time, and how we can engage. So he was talking about the breathing control, etc. Through that we can control our mind. So first one is sincerity comes from the mind, isn't it? And his mind's nature is to always going downward. And how we can bring it upward towards Krishna.
It just depends on whether to a greater, see, Krishna gives the answer, abhyasam and vairagyam, practice and detachment. But that you can see in your day-to-day life as well. When you're performing any activity, are you performing your activity by being in the present, or your mind is constantly fluctuating between the past and the future? Think for it. No one needs to tell you. When you are sitting quiet or you're performing any activity, where is your mind? Whether is it lamenting on the past or thinking about the future, which means that your mind is not in the present. If your mind is not present in your material activity itself, it is impossible for the mind to be present when you're chanting. So therefore, first regulate your mind from your desires, material desires, because you said that how do we know that we are progressing? Check for your own kama, krodha, mada, moha, matsarya. How are they? Would you like to have the association of devotees? When a choice is there between going to a movie and enjoying a marriage party or a Sankirtan party, which one do you prefer? There are certain subjective parameters you can check for yourself. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 13.8 to 13, where he talks about amanitvam, adambitvam, process of knowledge, there how well you are following the process. Prabhupada has given the process. First, are you able to get up morning 4:30 every day or 4 o'clock, attend Mangalarti? Not necessarily you come to temple, but at home itself you are getting up, you are chanting. hearing Bhagavatam, reading everyday Bhagavatam, eating only prasadam and nothing else? Do you have the firm conviction in the Supreme Lord that, especially when we are going through the turbulences in life, that's what I was talking, when the car is not moving forward, forget about car, none of the forward gears are working, only the reverse gear is working. So you're moving backward. At that stage, do you have conviction that the Supreme Lord, are you able to say that, thank you, my dear Lord, for placing me in this situation. It is for my benefit you are doing it. Do you have that conviction? All these are some of the subjective parameters you can put forth to yourself to see whether you are progressing in spiritual journey or not.
Oh, thank you. I think that is a good indicator. I think. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, kama, krodha, mada, moha, matserya. You can ask yourself where your desires are, what your desires are. Because Raghunatha Goswami in Mana Siksha says that these desires are like robbers, thieves, and they steal your valuable jewel. And what is that valuable jewel? That your spiritual progress. That spiritual progress you achieve simply by chanting and hearing Krishna Katha. So there are two paths. One is a gradual path which Krishna talks about in the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. From selfishness to selflessness, you gradually move. That is from karma kanda, karma yoga, jnana yoga, astanga yoga, and gradually move upwards to bhakti yoga. That's one process. The other is a straight process. Simply chant and hear, then you are taken to the highest platform. So Prabhupada gives the example of, if you want to reach a 50th floor, then you have 2 ways of reaching 50th floor. One is to climb the steps. So that's the gradual process, the karma kanda, karma jnana, then karma yoga, then astanga yoga. So this is a gradual process. The other is hop into a lift and zoom, move to 50th floor. So chanting the holy name of the Lord, associating with the devotees, taking prasadam, then hearing Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, doing devotional active service to the Lord is the direct process. Getting into the lift and then zooming to 50th floor. Whereas if you are going up the steps gradually, there's a possibility that you may get stuck in the 5th step, 10th step, 20th step and say, I'm tired, and then you are stuck there for how many lifetimes, we don't know. And in fact, the fact that we are sitting here itself shows that since time immemorial, we are in this material world. If you have conviction or faith in what Brahma Samhita is saying, if you have faith in what Bhagavatam is saying, that you are here in the material world since last 155 trillion years. It's a mind-boggling figure we are given by the scripture. And still we are here and we have a doubt whether should we chant Hare Krishna, will it take us back home, back to Godhead? We have a doubt. So Prabhupada says, just give me one lifetime, chant and take up this process sincerely and see for yourself. After all, you are not the loser. So take up the process sincerely and see for yourself. Because our own heart is the inner laboratory that helps you to understand. Put it into practice.
No, but you say that taking a staircase and taking the lift, so lift you cannot get available everywhere.
Is available. The simple lift available or given to us by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada is chant Hare Krishna mantra. This is our prayer, this is the highest prayer, and this is the process, this is the best process given to us for the Kali Yuga minded people. But we want, oh, this is too simple, it can't be the process. I must do something complicated. And therefore, we move to other parts of whatever it is we want to do. You can do it, I'm not saying that don't do it, but you are, be rest assured that you are going to be here for another 155 trillion years. Ultimately, each jiva is given the free will, you choose the free will. If you are fortunate, you come in contact with the devotees, because it's only a devotee who has Krishna in his heart can give you Krishna. If the person is a non-devotee, cannot give you Krishna, because the person himself does not have Krishna, so where can he give you Krishna? And unless you get in contact with Krishna, there is no way by which you can escape from this material world. And this is, we are witness for it because we have been here.
So as you said that unless Krishna's mercy, we do not get out from the material world, that you are saying, is right?
Unless we take up the process, we cannot get out of this material world. Okay. The fact that you are sitting here and hearing Krishna Katha, it means that Krishna has showered mercy on you, otherwise you wouldn't be here. He has somehow made the arrangement for you to be here and hear Krishna Katha and then chant Hare Krishna. Otherwise it's not possible. Krishna arranges the problem and Krishna also arranges a solution for it. We should be able to take it up.
So then where is your free will? So for example, if I say whose world it is, so it is Krishna's world, is right? So when I talk about Krishna's world and he is in every Sarvabhuta, that means every living and non-living entities, so where is the free will?
Why?
Where is the free will?
Why don't we see him? Is that question?
No. That's, where is our sadhinecha? That is free will. Free will.
Yeah.
Where we have the free will? We have no free will actually. It is all his lila, isn't it?
No. We have the tiny, Krishna has a free will, we also have a tiny free will.
Tiny free will, okay.
Yeah. The only free will we have in the material world is to take a step towards Krishna or to move away from Krishna. That's the only free will we have. So based on that free will, all your subsequent actions are bound by it. Okay. If you take a step towards Krishna, then you will perform all the activities related to Krishna consciousness. But if you are moving away from Krishna, then you are taking a step towards becoming maybe chairman of Pepsi-Cola or McDonald's, or you are trying to climb the material ladder. That does not mean that devotees are not occupying high executive positions, but they do not make a lot of effort for it. If Krishna arranges, they take it, otherwise fine.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting because in Gita, Sri Krishna mentioned that Shraddha is coming from Shabhav and Shabhav is coming from previous action. So this is the stringent law of nature. And
no, we create ourselves because, see, we generate so many thoughts every day. And those thoughts are called vritti. If a thought comes, that's fine, but when you perform an action based on the thought, the vritti, then it leaves behind a samskara. And when you perform the action repeatedly, that samskara becomes a vasana or an inclination, or it leaves behind a stamping in your subconsciousness. Or therefore it stores in what is called chitta. So you have the stampings in your chitta and you also have some desires. Combination of that, Krishna makes the arrangement for your next body. So therefore that becomes your svabhava. But svabhava alone does not define the personality of the individual. The svabhava combines with prabhava or prabhava that defines the personality. So you are born with certain nature, but equally you have an influence of the society, your parents, your brothers, sisters, the college, the society in which you have grown. Together forms your personality. So you have the free will, but the free will is covered by your desires. So therefore, your mind is full of that old stamping, samskara or vasana, and your intelligence tries to fulfill that samskara or the vasana which is there in your consciousness. And therefore, scripture says that you are given what you are destined to, because you are using your intelligence, which is arranged by the Lord in your next body, to fulfill the desires you have, and therefore you get the destiny. The only way to change the course of the destiny is not to use your own intelligence, but use the intelligence given by the scripture coming through a bona fide teacher. So when you start using the intelligence given by the spiritual master gives you the intelligence of the scripture. So therefore your destiny undergoes a change. You are no longer bound by the predestiny, but you are bound by the new destiny which arises because of the scriptural injunction. Does that answer your question?
Actually, it's too complex. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Any other question?
You can ask first.
Nice class, thank you, Prabhu. I just have a quick question. You know, with Ganesh Chaturthi, it's not to do with this. Why do they immerse Lord Ganesh in the water?
Because it's a temporary manifestation of the Lord or Ganeshji, and therefore they do the prana pratishtha for a day and then immerse it. Otherwise, if you have to have at home, every day you have to worship him. People are not willing to do that. It's a big responsibility if you have a deity at home. How many of them are willing to have deity at home? Because every day morning, whether you eat or not, you have to offer bhoga to the deity. Whether you like it or not, whether you're sick or not, you still have to offer prayers. You have to worship them. How many of them are willing to do that? Isn't it? You have deities at home? So people who have deities at home, they know the responsibility.
It is spontaneous.
Spontaneity comes later, but initially you have to follow the regulations.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Grandhara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vanchakalpatarobhyascha, Krupa Sindhubhya evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha.